that turn. But either way, it's pretty much impossible for Leadpaint to climb out of that situation.
Yeah, I definitely say so. But now Zalae is 1 win away from playing dog in the finals of this feature tournament number 2. Leadpaint has to win 2 games in a row now. They are doable. Tempo Mage versus Druid is going to be the first matchup that he has to overcome, which is definitely possible.
Yeah, it's really going to rely on whether or not Leadpaint lands like a really devastating Mirror Entity. Almost every single time Mirror Entity gets played against me and I'm playing the Druid, I feel like the game is so hard to win. But if that card doesn't come into effect, you kind of just can 1-for-1 all of their cards and then scale into your bigger threats. But that's still difficult to do. I mean, Tempo Mage is kind of going, toe for toe with you at a lot of those steps, and Leadpaint's even got Water Elemental back behind it. So just the extra health on that one minion that also has the freeze effect, that affects the combat a lot.
Yeah. Yep. Very true. And both players are just going to hold out their mulligans. When it gets down to this close, you really don't want to give any additional information away to your opponent. If you show your opponent that you're mulliganing away more cards, it might make them more inclined to keep like removal spells early on. It's a lot of the times it doesn't have effect, but in that small case where it does, you don't want to have given your opponent an advantage in a situation where it matters.
Yeah, good opening here for Leadpaint. Mana Worm is by far the best minion that you can have on turn 1 with Tempo Mage.
Makes playing Living Roots a little bit awkward as well.
Yep, that's one of the reasons why it's so good. You kind of mentioned this at one point, that Mana Worm was the key that unlocked the door to Mage Paradise.
Yeah. You innovate out the shade here, you're kind of screwed for your next couple turns.
Yeah. They think about Flame Cannon, too. I mean, if you innervate Shade and they Flame Cannon it, you're pretty much donezo.
Yeah. All right, well, he's on the I'm Hero Power in this sucker next turn plan.
Yeah. Looking at turn 4, Dr. Boom, I think is Zalae. It's where his aim is at right now. So Leadpaint's going to look to get on board super quick and try to punish Zalae for this, but I don't know if it's going to happen.
Yeah. Dealing with a Dr. Boom as a Tempo Mage early on in the game is so tough. Let's see. Frostbolt, Arcane Missiles, and Arcane Blast. That's 8 total damage. Even those 3 spells don't deal with Dr. Boom by themselves. So he's going to have to trade in his board. It's going to be a lot of resources used early on. Duplicate, don't even know. Zalae might be worried about Counterspell, but he saw last game that there was no secrets pulled. He saw Duplicate Mirror Entity only.
Yep.
Got to be feeling confident. This is
check for Mirror Entity.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sees that it's not there, and this is going to be an Arcane Missile from Leadpaint. Would love to pick up a Flamewaker with this, I'm sure. Unstable Portal.
Let's see.
Not quite.
No. Usually want to...
Oh, jeez.
Oh, no.
That's potential disaster.
Everything that can go wrong will go wrong. It feels when you're on that downhill spiral, and Leadpaint is experiencing that right now, especially since I can only imagine what this turn will hold.
I mean, you just got to go for it, right? This is the turn.
It's not like you don't have plays after going for it. You have Azure Drake next turn. You could even keep her next turn if you really wanted to.
I think
maybe he's worried about Fireball. Maybe he's worried about, hey, I'm at 20 health. I've taken a lot of damage. Maybe I need to be a little bit proactive. But
I will say alternative is like Keeper of the Grove this turn into Dr. Boom on turn 5 into Azure Drake Coin Wrath on turn 6.
Yeah,
that's really the only alternative I'm seeing, though.
He can Keeper and Wrath this turn. Keeper plus Innervate Wrath this turn. And just remove the board.
That ties up your Dr. Boom till turn 6.
It does, but it's not like you don't have a play for next turn. But let's do it. Stop talking about it. Just do it.
Now, do you trade the Shade or not? I think that's really the big issue here.
Needs a big pickup. That's a big pickup, but
a little too big.
Unfortunately, Tempo Mage does not have access to cast spell Innervate.
What if he had Innervate and he was like so excited about the Ragnos draw and he's like, yes! He innervates, he's like, oh, I only have 7 mana, no!
Yeah, unfortunately not the best, and I don't even know what you do here. You just use your entire hand to remove a Dr. Boom, and then hope that you draw into burn spells to win the game. That looks like it's gonna be the plan, and
it's gonna be kind of a rude interruption. Oh, that's a good Boombot form though.
yeah.
Zalae's just got all the cards. Take out the Sorcerer's Apprentice, couple it with the Azure Drake, and maybe even bash for 4 here. I mean, you just saw Frostbolt and Arcane Blast. Start the attacks with the Shade.
Yeah, you have Savage Roar in your hand. You have the second Shade, which means that you're probably going to play that before the Savage Roar. I like it. Why not?
Why not, indeed. 2 Sorcerer's Apprentice in hand for Leadpaint. Pretty much no help. And this is looking like lights out. This is a very strong start from Zalae here. And Leadpaint's hand was also a little bit weak in the open. Had like 2 fantastic cards and also 2 kind of mediocre cards. And that Dr. Boom's going to be a little bit late, I'd say. Wow, Zalae. Second Innervate pickup.
And he's got an Azure Drake on the board. He can just Wrath and smack down a Piloted Shredder. And just push the 9 damage.
And your opponent didn't answer either of your minions last turn, so they probably just can't do anything.
Yeah.
Right positioning from Zalae as always. Picture perfect play. And I think that's going to do it. I mean, this Dr. Boom means that you die on board.
Yeah, there's no way.
You can always Flame Cannon Doomsayer.
You know, when your tournament life is on the line, you gotta go for it. Even though it's a very small chance, you have to take the 1 in 3, and then you have to take the 1 in, I don't know, 80 something now. I don't even know how many 2-drops there are, but that's enough damage. Is going to do it. Yep, and even a little bit of overkill if you wanted to with the Innervate plus the Druid of the Claw. So that's going to be Zalae moving on to the feature number 2 finals to fight against Dog.
Yeah, he's actually, Zalae and Dog have met, I checked this right before this event. I believe they've met 4 times, and they're split on those matches. They're 2 games apiece. Or, I'm sorry, 2 matches apiece. Lifetime between the 2 of them in tournament play.
Oh wow! So this has a lot more implications than just a spot at a 25K Premier tournament. It also is bragging rights, which is arguably just as important.
I think it's more important personally.
Yeah, especially for pro players at the top end of competitive play. But I'd say that was an impressive performance by Zalae. It looked like the weak point for Leadpaint was that 5th deck that he brought, the Tempo Mage. It's a good idea. It fits his theme for decks, but maybe just a little bit outside of, not used to playing 5 decks in a competitive environment. You see Leadpaint, he plays those 4 decks all the time. Adding Tempo Mage might have been his downfall.
Yeah, it didn't really perform that well, but I can't fault him for bringing it. I think his play was on point in a lot of situations. He just found himself in a lot of tough spots, and Zalae just continuing to make the best use out of his cards turn after turn. It's one of those matchups where you're going to have to get the right draws if you want to beat a player like Zalae. He's just so good that you need card quality to beat him, and didn't show up this time for Leadpaint.
Yeah, Tempo Mage sometimes has that inconsistencies. But the final is set. It is Zalae versus Dog. We want to give you guys another quick reminder that ONOG and Geico will be at PAX East just next week. So if you are going to be at PAX East, make sure you check out the booth. There are still 128 spots open for the major that will be taking place. So that's a $10,000 prize pool tournament with 43 Hearthstone Championship points on the line. Signups are on-site only, so if you're going to be there and you want to play in that tournament, make sure you head on over there and sign up. If you're not going to be there, check it out on Twitch. We'll be right here on this channel next week, the 22nd to the 24th for that major. Also, still doing the CyberPower PC giveaway, so during the break, head over to geico.onog.gg, sign up to win that PC, and enter in for that open tournament, which happens on April 30th. In 2 weeks. But we are going to have to take a quick break before we jump into the finals, but don't go anywhere. The conclusion to feature tournament number 2 here at the One Nation of Gamers 2016 circuit will continue right after this.